All right, here we go. Hey, there we go.
That worked.
Hey, Jim.
Hello.
Got you back. Just wait for Nadia and Georgia to come in, then we can be on our way. In the meantime, Giza asked, would it be possible to create queue for tables? I would like to access topic X table. There's a free seed. Yeah, so we have been trying to come up with a good solution for that, Giza. We're still thinking about it. We're still trying to figure out how to kind of create that queue system. But that's definitely on the books on how to do that. Yes, you can upload a pre-record video, so you can add a YouTube video, and that YouTube video can then be played in here that people then click and then play. So yes, the answer is you can have a hybrid webinar. Pedro, because we're hands. Okay, thank you, Pedro, for the handsome comment. Oh, all right. So time for me to go. Thank you, guys. Sorry for the slight tech issues, but I will let you guys go. Thank you so much. I'll hand it off to Nadia.
Sounds amazing, Ho-Yin. Thank you. You're always so charming that despite any obstacles that we may face, it's a pleasure. Hello, everybody. Happy to have the great speakers. Some of you I know. Big secret who. Some of you, yeah, exactly. Hi, Angelina. Nice to see you again. Georgianne and Jim. It's a great pleasure to meet you. My name's Nadia, and I will be making everybody talk today, and I hope everybody's going to enjoy it. So what we're going to talk about is how to create a successful online event that converts. Why? Because there's so many online events today. I keep getting bombarded from everywhere, tons of messages, pop-ups, but I don't really care. But when I join an online event, I'm really interested to get value, to learn something, and to make it engaging. I'm sure that you will share great insights, but before you do, it would be amazing if you could introduce yourselves to our audience.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay, I'm going to start. My name's Angelina. Oh, hey, Raul. Yeah, I love that I see some people, Simon's there as well. So I've been part of the Remo community, I think, fairly early on. I founded a company called AceWork. We connect vetted talent with remote career opportunities. So we're a remote talent matching platform. And yeah, so the community, the remote work community has been highly supportive. Obviously, virtual events is a bit of our bread and butter. What we run at AceWork a lot are webinars for our candidates. They're free, or potential candidates, I should say. Free webinars. We try and support them on their remote work journeys, on job seeker journeys. Example would be, how to ace a remote job interview, a video interview would be one topic. Yeah, and that's really what we've been trying to do. We're also looking at webinars for our company side as well, but right now it's mostly focused on our candidates and job seekers.
Amazing. I'm in. I know your platform. I love it. Georgianne, what about you?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I have a little bit of a background noise because I'm in a co-working space today. And yeah, so my background, I've been with Remo since late August, September last year. And that's when I discovered it through like a networking event. And what I do for my organization, GSC with Georgie, is we do online branding and consulting. So we host online conferences and summits. One of our key events is the annual Get Shit Done Summit, which we used Remo for the first time last year. And one of my newest startup, Dura Labs, which is like an online community for freelancers and entrepreneurs to kind of connect and learn together. So I'm definitely gonna have to connect with you, Angelina, for job opportunities for them. And using Remo has been like a game changer. I did events for like the last 6 years, like in person. And when I saw Remo, I was like, wow, it's like the first time I feel like I get that in-person event feel through like an online platform. And I was instantly sold. I was like, the same day the event happened, I talked to my colleague that had the event. I'm like, I need to learn more about this company, introduce me to the founder. Like, I want in, how can I learn more about this platform and use it for my business and services?
Amazing. I had that question prepared, actually. How do you use Remo for your business? So yes, we already know. Okay, Jim, what about you?
I'm fairly new to Remo. It's been about 2 months now I've been using it. I'm in the storage space. Do anything as much as I can virtually, virtually trainings and that kind of stuff. I did a virtual summit a couple months ago. And so, yeah, using this kind of platform kind of works really well that way. And so I've been kind of doing it just every Friday, just building it up and getting used to it and getting people in my industry to try it out and kind of getting that, like you talked about, having in that conference and bringing as much of those conference things online.
Cool. So we're just going to rock this stage together, won't we? Okay, let me start with Georgianne, just because it's going to refer to what you just said about the big event that you created. What marketing techniques do you use to get attendees to your event? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so with my events, especially since they've shifted online, I have to do a lot more, obviously, online marketing. So some of the things that I use is definitely a content calendar and a content scheduler. So I use the platform Hootsuite to schedule out like all my content that my marketing automatically goes out. I also do a lot of videos. So a lot of like small video snippets, and I think we created some videos for this event to market it. And then sometimes I then do ads, like Facebook or Instagram ads, with like the 1 minute snippets, and the ads have converted really, really well. And it's like cheap ads. Like I did one the other day, $12, and I got like 16,000 impressions. And yeah, so just doing more visual communications and just really explaining in the videos and in the marketing that I'm doing how it's beneficial to be online, and just really reiterating that even though it's online, you still get a really high quality event, because people have this impression that virtual events aren't going to be as connected or interactive as in person. I'm like, well, no, this new platform does make that happen. So just reiterating that in all my content and just really planning out and scheduling the content way ahead of time has been amazing for me.
Yeah, it's a game changer, because people usually think about webinars. We just have to listen for an hour or two. What are your impressions, Jim, Angelina?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. And interestingly, like we still do call them webinars. Maybe we should stop doing that. Our marketing, we mostly do like one-on-one, like activating our network of candidates on LinkedIn, see if the topics are interesting for them. So it's more of like a one-on-one approach. We don't do so much like spread marketing out because we do want to support our community and like really grow organically that way. But I do think there is some sort of, barrier. And also what we've noticed, like we host in-person events as well. Like obviously the no-show rate for virtual events is much higher, right? So you kind of need to, make sure you get, with an in-person event in Berlin is a flaky city. We're known for that a little bit. I think you get maybe like 30 to 40% people showing up when it's a free event. Virtually, it's a lot lower. So I think that's one of those things that we're currently working on, is to exactly what you said, Georgianne, right? It's like really prove that this is, like highly interactive. Like, you got to show up. Like networking is a big part of it. You're not just going to listen to a webinar. Yeah. Always post the agenda like 50 times anywhere, like networking block. Like these are the people you can talk to, right? Because otherwise, I don't know. Like I'd also attend a lot of webinars, and what you do is like obviously your camera and your mic are off. So you're going to cook dinner and you're just going to listen to it as if it was a podcast. But Remo is really not that, right? And people that try and be on Remo events like that can almost be detrimental to the experience of others, right? So you go to a table and then there's like nobody there. Like it's that kind of thing. So we really have to, prep people so that they are active. I think that's one of the key things pre-event.
Absolutely. You mentioned Angelina, and that's very true, that there is a very high no-show rate. And I observed it on one of my events too last year, that I had over 300 people who signed up, and less than 40 actually came. Why? What happened? I was so disappointed. Jim, do you have any ideas that you think that will help us increase the engagement and make sure that people who are registered will actually attend?
Yeah, I'm actually going through that right now. I just did my first big promotion just 2 weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, in my Facebook group. And my Facebook group, I have 1,500 people in there, and I was really promoting it to get the face-to-face deal. Ended up having 200 people register, and it's like you're saying, the people that show up live ended up being about 40 that showed up that even registered. So it just comes down, and I'm going through this right now, like I said. So it's promoting as far as the reminders. Obviously, the email reminders is always going to be huge. I'm dangling a little bribery as well, saying there's going to be giveaways during the session as well. Some sort of entertainment, that way, as far as like a free drawing for an Amazon gift card as we're doing it, or whoever asked the best question in the chat, just something like that to kind of keep engagement, and just people want to show up just to see what happens. Exactly.
Anyone, anything else, any other hints you were willing to share from your experience? Because it's so frustrating. You get so excited. Wow, so many people signed up, and then the disappointment hurts. Any other ideas?
Yeah, I think something that I want to try is, Angelina, you mentioned it a little bit, of you reach out to people directly through LinkedIn. I haven't done any, like, once people register, any like direct messaging, like, hey, can't wait to see you tomorrow, or like maybe it's really just taking a look at their LinkedIn or asking them to fill that out on the form and say, trying to get that connection so they feel like it's a meeting that they have to show up to. Because I know when I have like virtual, one-on-one conferences, people are less likely to no-show. But if it's like, oh, it's a big group thing, 400 people registered, oh, I could miss that, it's going to be recorded anyway. So maybe even saying like there is no recording and then putting a recording is something I'm going to try. And like one-on-one emails, I think I'm going to see how that works to make it feel more personal. So I think, like Angelina said, we have to shift from just, oh, it's a webinar, come listen, but it's like really, it feels like a podcast, versus this is an interactive digital experience. I don't know what word we could use for that, but I think that's the next step of how we communicate to people what this truly is.
I think so, because we have the impression that it's really stiff, right? Jim, you wanted to say something.
No, I'm saying that the very first time I went through this, I actually was doing like a captured screen share, and I was taking snippets of conversations that people were having, and I made like my own little 1 minute, almost like a promo, kind of like showing what this really is. Put some music behind it, made it fun, just to show people like, no, this isn't boring. This could be a lot of fun and interactive, and it is new. It's a different way of interacting. So just having some sort of promo, even if it's only 30-second kind of a thing, just to kind of help showcase that video goes so much farther than just typing it out saying, check this out. So
exactly. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, that makes sense, this interaction, because I hear so many people keep telling me sometimes, because, some people are still against it, and they say, if you meet somebody for real, it's different than online, right? It's not the same thing. But I think still we need more time to introduce this, and it's great that the news are spreading, because, as I said, and you all agree, that it's people think that it's just a webinar where you cook, right? And you just listen, or that's what I do, right? If I don't have time, I'm just going to say, oh, whatever. I'm just going to switch off my laptop. That's it. But during Remo events, you can actually meet people from all over the world that you would never be able to meet, because you wouldn't be at the same spot, right? Able to meet. But then on the other hand, you are not just joining the same webinar where you're a listener, but you can talk. But that's really great when we talk about networking. But anyway, another question for all of you, because still we have this crazy information flow from everywhere that we've just discussed. And how should we come up with an idea to make a topic interesting, engaging? Because I think that we have so many topics that are being repeated by many companies, by many communities over and over and over again. And I have the feeling that sometimes I'm not even learning anything anymore. Angelina, what do you think?
Yeah, I have that not just with webinars, if you want to call it that, but also like content in general. I think there's just a lot in our space. Remote work, you know, has exploded over the past year. There's so much content out there at the moment. And just, yeah, it's definitely a challenge to figure out like, okay, what is it that we can add to the conversation? And I think one of the things for interactive online experiences is actually bring people on that someone would want to talk to, right? So for us, like one of the things we want to try is like bring on like a company expert, like the HR people ops person from like a big remote company and get their like live insight. You can speak to that person, right? Like no strings attached, like no like pitching, whatever, just like get to know and ask them questions. But for basically to provide access for people. I think that's why you go to events too, right? Like you get to speak to people that you wouldn't normally, maybe that you wouldn't reach online. Like I have that sometimes in Berlin. I go to an event where there's like, I don't know, like a big whatever business person that I think does a really great job. And I probably wouldn't, you know, like if you add them on LinkedIn, like, yes, you could try that, but like, you know, that seems kind of cold. But if you come up to them after they speak at a panel, it's kind of a more organic way, right? So you have to give access to something. Like, why would people even want to interact with each other? You know, say who else is in the audience. That could be something.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Georgianne, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just threw in the comment what Angelina said, and because everyone's talking in the comments, all of them instead of just like webinars, right? Like let's start shifting from that. You said like interactive online experiences. And I think with the content that people put out, I see a lot of content still focused on what you should be doing or what tools you should be using versus like how to really use these tools to amplify yourself in your career or life and work more balanced and like work in synergy. I don't really like to say balance because I think there's like no equal, but it's more so like flow better for you. And I think that's really the next level of it, showing how, again, the interactivity part, because that's what we need more of versus like, hey, here's a topic, I'm going to talk to you for 4 years about it. It's more like, here's a topic, I said something about it, what do you have to say back? Like, how can we continue the back and forth of the conversation versus just, here's a bunch of content, consume it. I think that's what we are at a stage right now between media, so whether it's like written, audio, video content, in-person events, as well as these online experiences, how can we just get people to be more so open-ended questions, right? You know, or like an improv and, you know, right? Like just adding on versus just here's a thing, read it and keep it going, or if you comment back, it's not like real time. Like how can we create real time experiences?
That's very true, because I think that we can Google pretty much anything and ask a question and get tons of information, what we should do and how things are done. But to actually guide us through it and give us a real time experience, this is something that we don't have. And we can try to look for an expert to help us out, pay him per hour, but where do we need to look? Where do we need to find that person? If we have this interactive meeting, here are the people right there. We can get really great insights and actually ask questions. So definitely, I think that is something that we should start building and creating awareness about, because, well, the name webinar is starting to be extremely boring and I hate it. So, all right. But we're talking what happens, we just talked about what happens when we have people at our event. But how should we start planning it? What about the entire marketing campaign? How early should it be done? What is the action plan? Jim, what would you suggest?
Well, again, I'm kind of talking about what I'm doing right at the moment. So I'm doing that right now as far as the planning of everything. I have like a virtual summit coming up, and I'm doing Remo at the same time with it, because that's a great way to kind of dovetails nicely together. And with my community, again, it's storage, so it's definitely a niche, but you know, any kind of niche, you're going to have your, you know, community kind of go-to people that you go to. I'm kind of having them decide, I've been sending out emails and posts in Facebook communities and LinkedIn communities just saying, what do you want to have? What do you want to learn? What questions do you have? I'm kind of making them help create the content. And then once I see what those questions are, then I reach out to those people in my niche. That's their expertise. And it's a easy sell. Be like, cool, these are the questions. These are your people. They're your potential clients, basically looking for your services. So come on and either on the summit or then get on for Remo and host a table, getting that one-on-one interactivity. So again, I'm helping to have my community. They're helping me create the content, and that makes it more interesting and interacting. And like I said, hopefully that will boost attendance because they're kind of feeling part of the process.
Well, that's a really great insight. I have to tell you, I have never thought about it, but that actually shows you what people are really interested in, what they want to hear, and not that you're kind of telling them and then expect that they join. Yep. And that is kind of connected to what Georgianne said also, that and Angelina, that within our communities, but then on the other hand, we let people be part of it and give them a real experience. But Georgianne, in terms of planning a marketing strategy for an event, what would you say? How early should we start? How many people sign up from your experience, like the day before, on the same day, or 2 weeks before? What are the statistics? What do you think makes the most sense while planning?
Yeah, so I usually try to plan, like now I'm trying to plan like 3 months in advance, 8 weeks in advance, just so that I can have like a solid marketing campaign, because I know it's tedious, as well as like I want to convey like the impact of the online event. But still, as when I did in-person events, people are registering like the last like 5 days before the events. The last 2 days is like the biggest push. People are even talking about, people are even registering the morning of. And the idea of the replay, maybe we have to figure out a way to like remove that, or maybe like the replay is the more expensive version, because I see people where it's like the live event is more expensive and then the replay is kind of like secondary or like cheap or free. But then I think we need to realize like the sauce is in the live experience versus like in the replay. So if you're getting the replay, that's like $1,000. If you come to the live event, it's $10 or whatever, so that way people will come and interact. Because when they think that they could do it later, then it just becomes like another piece of content that's flat versus like an interactive, dynamic piece of content, in a conversation in the community. So when I do like the planning, I try to figure out, who's speaking first. And then after I have that, I create like all the materials, like the videos, graphics, tutorials, whatever I need, throw it into my content planner, scheduler to schedule itself out. And then I just start, going around and just every time I get a chance, talking about, who's coming and how it's going to be fun and interactive, and just like what we're going to go over and why it's different and better, and like truly like the benefits, because I think that's like the key. It's super accessible, you can attend from anywhere, so just really highlighting the benefits of not being in like a physical location and being stuck to one place. And I'm more and more like realizing like the recording or like the afterplay needs to be more of a secondary thing than because at first I saw like a lot of people would promote webinars or the idea of like online classes, so it's like you can watch after, you can watch on your own time, but we need to, in order to get the true engagement, you don't want one person commenting on day one of the webinar replay and then another person commenting like 3 weeks later, and that's not really a conversation, right? Like you don't even get a notification at that point. So then come back and really talk. And that connection could have been like the thing that makes the topic evolve or take it to the next level where we want to see it taken.
Absolutely. 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 This is super valuable. I hope that all of you guys, the entire audience, everybody's enjoying it. And if you have any questions, I just want to remind you that on your right, you have this poll where you can submit some questions. I see 3 right now. The thing is, they're all to Hao-Yin about Remo itself, which we may not be able to answer, but I'm sure he will once he appears. So if you have questions about online events, what to do, how to do it right, how to make people like your event, how to start planning, just feel free to ask a question. And I'm sure all of our 3 experts here will feel really ready and excited to respond. Anyway, coming back to the subject, what about the time? The time, because I see so many people do events or online events, any kind of online event, even those webinars that we agreed we don't like without interaction. But some do it in the morning because they say, okay, people are at work and they may use their time at work to get engaged in something else. But some say, let's just do it after work or do it in the evening because then people have some free time and then they can join. What is your opinion, Angelina? What would you recommend?
Totally depends on your audience. We played around with it, right? So our candidates are off, like it depends, right? Some of them are unemployed job seekers that have time during the week, doesn't really matter when. Some people have jobs and looking for a new job is not part of their current job, right? So it's not a part of like a professional networking thing, but it's something they would want to do after work, right? Our problem is we have a global audience, right? We try and focus on Europe and the US, like that's where our companies are based. But yes, we do get candidates from all over. And we realize we are mostly based here, like around the European time zone. So we tend to run the events actually as they are now, like 6 p.m. Central European time. So that would be the noon slot for East Coast, 9 a.m. for the West Coast. And we get like American candidates to say like, yeah, that works. And then we have people tell us, oh, I can't do that during the week, but I could during the weekend. So we ran our last one on a Saturday, which was a 6 p.m. Saturday night in, Europe. So we did get more people from the US, but definitely fewer from Europe. So I think it's, it really depends. You kind of got to alternate and see. For us, they just ask like, oh, can we please do one? We'd love to attend one. And they're not tons of effort for us. So we don't do 3 months out planning. Like we have a template of like the steps that we need to run through. It's like 2 weeks prep maximum. It's kind of also like an urgent topic. People are like, oh yeah, like I have an interview coming up. I need to prep for it, or I need to revise my CV, like those kind of things. So I think we're a little bit more nimble, but I'd love to hear the thoughts on like hosting like a summit, like when do you host that? You're US based. So I'm guessing,
exactly.
What time, like evening US, is that when you do it?
Both of you, Georgianne and Jim, I see you're willing to answer. Both of you will get a voice. Let's start with Jim and then we'll go to Georgianne. Jim, what do you think?
Well, my summit that I ran was actually for 3 days. It was a 3-day summit, so it wasn't just a 2-hour webinar type of a thing. It went for 8 hours a day for 3 days straight. Wow. A lot of speakers, 30 speakers, but it was all pre-recorded, that kind of thing. Kind of going back to what you're talking about as far as people signing up and all that real quick. Yeah, I saw the same thing. It was slow. I started promoting 3 months in advance. Slow. It was like a hockey stick about a week before the event. Time-wise, I didn't get much, honestly, pushback as far as what time it started and when it was going to end and that kind of thing. The fact that they had an option during the course of the day. They knew it was available that day, but I actually had it where it was available that entire day, and they could choose when to come on and watch it. So I had that flexibility kind of built in. So I was kind of playing both sides of the fence on that one. So that's my 2 cents. If we're able to do it that way, great. Like I said, in the future, I'm gonna have virtual events recorded like that, but then this would be the interactive live portion of it. So I'm kind of doing both things.
That sounds like a win-win. Georgianne,
right.
What are you going to add?
Yeah. So my summit was a 1-day event. It was also 8 hours long, and what I saw is similar to Jim. So we had like a solid group of people that were there for like most of the day, maybe like 30 people were there for like the whole thing. And then there were people that dipped in and dipped out. They watched parts and leave and then come back because they knew they were going to get the replay. Because we also had 2 tickets. You could just watch the live event, or you could buy like a VIP ticket that included the replay. So I think with that, the key is like for time, we started at 10 a.m. Eastern time and went up to, I think it was 6 or 7 p.m. because we did have like a 1-hour lunch break as well. So like people, that was like networking / lunch break, and that happened in Remo, so that way we could talk to each other. But I think when it comes to time, like Angelina said it best, it depends on who your target audience is. So if you are looking for, if they're working folks, if they are, freelancers or more flexible work where they can, jump into a webinar that's interactive in the middle of the day, then that's fine. But if you're at like a regular job, you still kind of just have to like take a step back and just like do the listening part as if you're listening to a podcast and not really the interactive part unless you take it as a meeting or something. So what I have tried though is like having the events, the same event, just multiple parts of the week. Sometimes I can get the same speakers, sometimes it's like different speakers, but that way it offers like the flexibility so that people could participate. But I do find like the whole 12 p.m. Eastern time, 12 or 1 p.m. Eastern time is like a really good time across multiple time zones, that people, if like the whole yin, if you're in Korea, on China, then you're still solid. I have a colleague that's in like Korea, and it's ridiculous to try to schedule anything. So it's either like really early for me or really late for me, or really early for them and really late for them. So, but we figure it out. But the 1 o'clock Eastern has been like a really good time for enough time zones that people have made it work.
The worst is always Australia. How can I ever make it work? I'm trying so hard.
I'll see you yesterday.
It's not working. Whenever they are available, I sleep because it's either 5 o'clock at night or midnight. It's just not working for any virtual. This is something we need to figure out. I think that's maybe the next step of some other technology or traveling back and forth in time. Not today. Today we are here with Ho Yin. I think you're here to wrap up, aren't you?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Nadia. We're running a little late, but thank you guys so much. Maybe just quickly, if you guys want just to share, maybe like where people can contact you, or if you want to share that information, and then we're going to move on to networking. So I'll just let Nadia, why don't you go ahead and just wrap up really quickly, sharing everyone's contact details or the way to contact them.
Yes, how to contact. I hope that everybody, including me, I just did it. I hope that all of you, Jim, Angelina, Georgianne, that you make sure that you add your LinkedIn, the link to your LinkedIn profile together next to your picture, and that you upload it to your profile. You can even add a Calendly link so that somebody schedules a meeting with you. I did it, so I'm really keen on getting to know new people today. And I'm sure that all of these great 3 speakers will add so much value to the entire audience. Make sure you connect with them. Make sure you click LinkedIn, and automatically you'll jump to your LinkedIn and you can just see who all of these people are and then just connect. I'm sure you'll love it.
Please say that it was from this event, because my biggest pet peeve is just getting no messages when I get LinkedIn requests, and I don't know where people came from. So enough like met at Remo event, completely fine, all good. But yeah, that's my pet peeve. 2 cents to that.
Makes sense.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Thank you. Nadia, you just made a perfect segue in convincing everyone to do that. So I was just going to teach everyone how to do that. So if you see your profile picture on the top right, and I've shared my screen, you can see on the top right, there's like a profile picture of yourself. It's right next to the signal bars. If you click on that profile picture, there'll be like an option to update profile. And then you can see, if you can see my screen in the middle, then there'll be this profile picture or profile section where you can add yourself, your LinkedIn, you can change your name, and also add your booking link. So if you click on this pen here, you'll be able to edit all of your name and also your meeting schedule links and all of that, and add your photo and all that details. So for now, we will now go into networking. And we will network for about probably about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we'll come back. We've got 2 sessions, which you guys cannot miss out, which is boosting sales, repurposing content, and leveraging relationship after your online.
Uh-oh.
I think Hoyen just went offline. Maybe we should get out of this broadcast.
He'll be back.
Give him some space.
I think so. All right. Well, we know what to do then.
Yep. It was just
pleasure again meeting you all. Some of you again, Angelina, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.